Hey, John Ty here, author of Crush It with Kindle, and welcome to this video on creating multiple income streams from your Kindle books. There are lots of great options, so let's get straight into what they are and how you can take advantage of them. So, your Kindle book is a success. What next? Well, once you have a Kindle book that's successful, you can release it in multiple formats, and I'll explain what those are in a moment. This can significantly increase your revenue. And these are either relatively easy to create yourself or they can be outsourced. So let's look at the different ways in which you can leverage your success. Once you have a successful Kindle book, you can repurpose it to create a physical book through Amazon's CreateSpace platform, a hardback book through Lightning Source, an audiobook through Amazon's Audible platform, and you can use that to create two separate income streams, which I'll talk about in a moment. And you can create translations of your book into popular languages because remember, Amazon has websites all over the world. Now, as well as creating multiple income streams, there are other advantages of having multiple formats of your book. The first of these is consumer choice. If your book is only available on Kindle, you may well miss out on readers who prefer either physical books or audiobooks. And bear in mind, you can charge a significant premium for physical books and especially audiobooks. And of course, if you don't have translations, you'll miss out on readers in other languages. The next advantage is that if you create a physical version of your book through Amazon's CreateSpace platform, you can take advantage of Amazon's expanded distribution. And that means that not only will your physical book be available directly through Barnes & Noble, it will also be available via Ingram through thousands of independent bookstores. And through Baker & Taylor, it will be available in libraries and academic institutions. Next, having multiple formats creates a more professional first impression. And the more professional that first impression, the more likely somebody is to buy your book. You also get to take advantage of price juxtaposition, which generates more sales, and I'll explain how that works on the next slide. And finally, if you have an audiobook, you can become eligible for Amazon's $50 Audible Bounty. And again, I'll explain how that works in a moment. So let's talk about price juxtaposition, which you can use to generate additional book sales. Here we've got a screenshot from Amazon.com of the book The Martian. And you can see it's available in multiple formats: Kindle, hardcover, paperback, and Audible. And you can see how the price escalates. So if you want the Kindle version, it's only going to cost you $5.74. But if you want the paperback, that's going to cost you $9. And if you want the hardcover, it's going to cost you $14.88. Now, Amazon's showing the Audible version here as being free, and that's because they're promoting the free Audible trial, which, by the way, is great news for us, and I'll explain why in a moment. But if you click on that Audible button, what you'll see is this. And you've got two options, the free Audible trial or buy with one click. And you can see from the way this is laid out with the free Audible trial button being pre-checked that Amazon is really pushing this free Audible trial. And that's because after the first 30 days, members are charged $15 a month. So Amazon gets that guaranteed subscription income, and in return for that, Audible members get to download one audiobook a month for free, as it were. Now, the alternative, if somebody doesn't want to take up the free Audible trial, or if they're already a member and they've had their month's free audiobook, is to simply buy the book, but that's going to cost them $32.34. And that's what I mean by the Audible Premium. The perceived value of audiobooks is much higher than it is for physical and Kindle books. So Amazon get to charge much more, which is good for them, but it's also good for you because you get higher royalties. So now that we've looked at how the price escalates depending on the format of the book, I can explain how you can use price juxtaposition to increase the number of sales. And the best way to illustrate this is with an example. So let's imagine that you just have a Kindle version of your book only, and that book is on sale for $2.99. Somebody comes to your book's Kindle page on Amazon, they can see the price is $2.99, and they have a very simple decision to make. Is that book worth $2.99 to them? Now contrast that to a situation where you also have a paperback version of your book, and let's say that paperback is priced at $9.99. Now, the thought process and the decision that person has to make is completely different. What they now see is that your book is priced at $9.99, but that they can get the Kindle version for just $2.99 and save themselves $7. That price juxtaposition makes your Kindle version seem like much better value, and so it's going to increase the number of sales you make of your Kindle book. Similarly, if you also have an Audible version of your book, that will create price juxtaposition in relation to the physical and Kindle versions of your book and make them more attractive. Okay, so I said earlier that you can actually create two separate income streams if you have an Audible version of your book. The first of these is the higher rate of royalties that you get from that Audible Premium that I talked about earlier. And the second is the $50 Audible Bounty. And the way this works is once you've signed up for the Bounty program, every time someone joins Audible and your audiobook is the first one they purchase, Amazon will pay you a $50 bounty. And so what's happening is that by promoting their audiobooks via this free Audible trial, a lot of authors are actually making more money from the $50 bounties than they are from their audiobook royalties. So it's a great way to significantly boost your income. It's also really easy to promote. If you look at this screenshot, first of all, it's a proper 30-day free trial. If people change their minds, they can cancel and pay nothing. Secondly, they get 2 free audiobooks with their trial, and they get to keep those even if they cancel. So it's quite an attractive offer for people if you want to promote your book in this way and generate the $50 bounties in addition to your Audible royalties. Now let's talk about getting the different versions of your book actually created. And if you want to do this yourself, it's relatively straightforward once you know how to do it. But if you prefer, you can outsource really the entire process. So you can outsource the formatting of your physical books and the translation of your books to Upwork.com relatively inexpensively. When it comes to your audiobook creation, you have 2 options, both for finding someone to narrate your book and to create the right type of audio files. One option is Upwork.com. The other is the ACX marketplace. ACX stands for Amazon Creation Exchange. And what ACX does is it puts authors in touch with audiobook narrators and producers. And through ACX, you have 2 options in terms of payment. The first option is that you get your book narrated for free, but that in exchange for that, you enter into a 50-50 royalty split with your book's narrator. And that is a lifetime royalty split. Alternatively, you can pay an upfront one-time fee, which can be quite expensive, but you get to keep all of the royalties. Bear in mind also that if you choose the 50-50 royalty split option, any $50 bounties that you earn will also be split 50-50 with your book's narrator. Now, having said all of that, you may want to consider narrating your books yourself. So there are some key advantages to narrating your own book. First of all, there's no 50-50 royalty split. Secondly, there's no paying a narrator up front, and that could save you hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the length of your book. You get to keep 100% of your audiobook royalties for life. And here's a big one. You get to be heard directly by your audience. That really helps enable you to develop a relationship with them and to get them to know, like, and trust you. And if you can do that, that will really help you to build your platform so that you can sell other books to those people in the future. And it's also really important if you're using your book to build a back-end business and sell any kind of product or service to people. So let's recap and look at the key takeaways. 1. You can leverage a successful Kindle book to create multiple income streams: physical books, both paperback and hardback, audiobooks, and translations. 2. Audible will pay you a $50 bounty. 3. You can outsource the entire creation process. And 4. Narrating your own books has multiple advantages. So, this is John Ty. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to catching up with you on the next one.